Hello, I'm Catherine, the budget doctor, and I'm here to show you how to use my budget spreadsheet. If you're here, you're either interested in purchasing it or you have purchased it and you want to know how to even use it. So, first things first, when you do buy the budgeting spreadsheet, you get a PDF where you can easily access your purchase that looks like this. So it does say congrats on your purchase. Don't forget to leave me a 5-star review so I can send you a freebie. If you scroll down here, you can click open my purchase. This spreadsheet can be used with a laptop, desktop, tablet, or phone. So you can use it across all devices. I'm using my iPad Pro 12.9 inches along with my Apple Pencil, but I can use it on my computer and phone as well. So I'm gonna click open my purchase. Again, I'm gonna click open and it's gonna take me directly to my spreadsheet over here. So I do want you to remember that you cannot edit anything in here. You have to make a copy. It will not let you make any edits to this, okay? So we're gonna hit back and it's over here. I want you to click these 3 dots and click make a copy so you can have a copy that you can make edits to and input your own budget. Okay, so now that I have made a copy of the spreadsheet, I can go ahead and name it whatever I want. And it's gonna open to the Start Here tab, which is right over here, where I give you some instructions on how to use it. If you don't wanna read it, keep listening to this tutorial. It's important to note that you should only be making changes to the cells that are in light red, and I'll show you how to do that. What you want to do is you want to scroll down all the way to the bottom to see this area over here. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. So the first thing you want to do when you create your budget is you want to create some expense categories. I call these my budgeting categories. The ones I use and the ones that are auto-filled for you include rent, grocery, dining, transportation, shopping, loan, pet, utility, personal, insurance, phone, gym, wellness, travel, home goods, medical, giving, entertainment, interest payments, miscellaneous, and savings. Now, if you want to make any changes to these categories, you can. All you have to do is actually click it and change the category. Any changes you want to make to the expense category have to be made here, not in any other page, because it'll mess up with the algorithm and the formulas that I have inserted. So make sure you only make changes to your categories in this Start Here tab, which can be found by clicking this button over here. You're going to be seeing these expense categories throughout all the sheets down here. So again, if you want to make any changes, let's say for example, you don't pay rent, you pay mortgage, you can actually go in there and change this to mortgage and it'll change across the whole sheet. Now that that's changed, all the sheets that have these categories will now say mortgage instead of rent, and I'm going to quickly show you what that looks like. So if I click January expense tracker and I scroll down, this was once before called rent, now it's called mortgage. But I'm going to go ahead and switch it back, just like that. So you can go ahead and do that with every single category. It's totally up to you. These are the ones I have for you. Next, you need to grab all the bills that you have to pay from the 1st to the 31st, and you're going to input them here. So the first thing I have here is rent. It's due on the 1st. The amount is $1,500 and the category is rent. You can click that arrow and you'll get a drop-down menu of your categories over here, which is why it's so important not to mess with this anywhere else except here. So these are the categories you can go ahead and choose. I'm going to input another example for you here. Let's say on the 2nd, you have a Netflix payment that comes out. So I'm going to go ahead and type in Netflix, and that's going to cost $11. I'm going to click this arrow here and I'm going to categorize it as entertainment. So that's another bill that I put on here. I'm also going in order, so keep in mind to put all your bills in order just so that it's clean and organized. So let's say on the 3rd, I have to pay my electricity bill, so I'm gonna go ahead and type in electricity. And let's say I'm budgeting the highest amount possible, let's say 150. And I'm gonna click this arrow here and I'm going to categorize it in one of these, and it's considered utility. So now that I've updated the bills I gotta pay here, this is going to be copied over into my expense tracker sheets, which are down here. So you have one for January, February, March, etc. So I'm going to just show you what that actually looks like. It auto populates there. So whatever you put here is going to auto populate into every single month, just so you have it for reference. So if I click January expense tracker down here and I scroll down, let me zoom out. Over here, you can see that we have input these 3 bills and they appeared. So I'm going to put in one more, but I'm not going to put it in here because if I put it in this tab, your January expense tracker tab, it's going to mess up with the formula. So again, what I'm going to do is go to my Start Here tab and input another bill. So let's say on the 4th, I have my cell phone bill coming out. I'm going to put cell phone and let's say it cost $80. Click this arrow and find the category. It's under phone. So now I want to show you how that's going to translate. So now that I've added my cell phone, I'm going to click January expense tracker just to show you right there that it just appeared. So this is going to auto populate for every single month. If I hit February, scroll down, zoom out, it's all there. Same thing with March. It's right there. Do not mess with this table. You only want to edit and make changes in the Start Here tab so that your bills can be translated over. I hope that was very clear. Let's move on to the January expense tracker tab because it is very important. So what I want to show you over here is this is your budget dashboard. You have one for every single month. Okay, I'm going to zoom in a little bit here just so it's more clear. So what this is a summary of your income and your expenses. Your income should technically be more than your expenses. So once it is, it'll tell you exactly how much savings you have. It literally says, woohoo, your income was greater than your expenses this month. What are you going to do with the savings? So it just gives you some nice positive feedback there. Over here, you have a pie chart with your expenses. I put in some sample ones, so I'm going to show you that later, but just to show you what it actually looks like, I put some samples in for you. You're going to have to go and erase all of these, but just for the sake of the examples, I did want to show you what the pie chart looks like. So this is based off of your income. So for rent, 56.1% of my income went towards my rent. 9.3% of my income went towards my groceries. 3.1% went towards transportation, and so on and so forth. And these are all your categories, which is why, again, it's so important. If you want to make any edits to your category, do it in the Start Here tab, okay? Because it's literally everywhere. So that's your expenses breakdown based off of your income. I have this little section over here for you as well. You can put your monthly top 3 goals. It can be financial, personal, whatever you'd like them to be. So down here, I'm going to zoom into this area here. Here is where you're going to see a line progress bar, and this will show you the progress on your planned income versus your actual income. So if your planned income is less than your actual income, that's a good thing because you made more than you planned. And you'll get this little symbol over here. However, if your actual income is less than what you planned, then you'll get a sad face just like this one. Sticking to this area over here, what you're gonna do is you're gonna put your income source. So whether it's your work, your husband's work, some side hustle, you can go ahead and change what you want to call whatever income you make. A lot of people make more than one stream of income, so it's just easier for them to actually separate it that way. Then you want to put in how much you plan to make. There's already a difference over here because there's an income down here. So I'm going to go ahead and erase these. These are just an example for you. So I'm just going to highlight them and clear it. So we're going to go up here and now that's gone, which is good. Let's say from my first job, I make $1,500. I'll leave that as is. And then I have a Etsy side hustle. So I'll literally go in and put Etsy. And then let's say you want to put your husband's income as well. So I'm going to change that to hubby. Okay. So let's say I'm planning to make, I don't know, for January, I'm planning to make, I don't know, let's say $500 on. And then my husband brings in $2,000 this month. But now it just says there's a difference because we didn't put in the actual. Do not touch this. That will get updated automatically. All you touch is this area in here. So you're going to scroll down and you're gonna put, for example, on the 1st of January, by the way, if you're on a desktop, all you have to do is double click that and the calendar will appear. It doesn't do that for iPad for some reason. So I'm gonna put in that I made $1,500, and that's my regular paycheck. And then you can go ahead and list which item it was, whether it was your work, your Etsy, which is your side hustle, or your husband's income. You can put whatever you want. So let's say it was work. On the 2nd of January, Etsy gave me $600. So that's more than I had planned. So I'm literally gonna go in and put Etsy and then press the arrow and put in Etsy again. So now when I scroll up, it shows you exactly for my first job here. I planned to make $1,500. I actually made $1,500. You have a difference of 0. For Etsy, I planned $500, but I made $600, which is good. And then I didn't put anything for my husband's yet. If he didn't get paid, for example, I wouldn't have anything in there because he didn't get paid yet. So up here, it changed, saying I actually made less than I planned, and that's a sad face. But don't worry about this because obviously my husband didn't get paid yet, so it's not a big deal. This comes in more towards the end of the month when you're wrapping up your budget, okay? So that's done for income. The next thing you wanna do is move on to the expenses section over here. So again, don't touch this area. It will auto-populate when you populate your other expenses. All you're going to touch is what you're planning to spend in each category. You are not gonna touch the rest of these columns, okay? It's so important to know that. This is all you will fill in. So for example, I know my rent every month is $1,500. So I'm literally gonna put $1,500. What are you budgeting for groceries? Usually for me, I budget around $500, so I'll put in $500. For dining, like eating out, I'll usually budget about $300. Transportation, like gas, public transportation, I'll budget $100. We both work from home. Shopping, let's say I give myself a budget of $100. Loan payments, $200, etc. Your pet, how much for food, vet, whatever, let's put $100. Utilities, like your electricity, water, I'm gonna put in $255. Personal could be anything, like I get my nails done twice a month, so I'm gonna put in $60. Insurance, phone costs us $80, etc. So you go ahead and fill that in for yourself. And what this will do is update your progress bar, which I love, but we're gonna come back to that. So after I've put in my planned income, I'm gonna leave it as is. I'm gonna actually scroll down, and I've given you examples here. You don't need to use this, obviously, because this isn't your real life, but what you're gonna go ahead and do is clear this. So I'm gonna highlight it and click clear. So now it's all gone. So now when I scroll up, there isn't anything in the actual column. It's all 0, and it will auto-populate based off of your expenses, okay? So I'm gonna give you one example here. Let's do rent. That comes out on the 1st of the month, and it's $1,500. Let's call that rent. And the category is going to be rent. Best thing about this spreadsheet is that it actually highlights according to your category color as soon as you fill in from the drop-down menu the category. And I just did that, and rent is purple. So just to show you another example, let's say on the 2nd of January, I went grocery shopping and we spent $189. I'm gonna put in Walmart. Okay, and then I'm gonna click this arrow. I'm gonna click grocery, and watch, it should change the color to this light blue over here, and it's automatically gonna update in here as well. So I'm gonna click this, click grocery, and voila. It literally just updated the color, and it gave the amount up there. So if I scroll up, we can go ahead and see that rent was $1,500, groceries is $189 for my $500 budget. So what happens is here you can see that the difference is 0 for rent because rent is just one payment. For groceries, based off of the budget that I have planned, I still have $311 to spend, which is so cool to see, by the way, because remember, we only spent $189 and it auto-calculated for you. So what you can see over here is these progress bars. So if you spent exactly what you budgeted, it will turn blue. If you spent a lot lower than your budgeted amount, it will be green. Now, let's say you are almost halfway to your budget. So let's say, again, you did another grocery trip. Let's say on the 3rd, I don't know, you went to Whole Foods and you spent $100. So I'm literally gonna put Whole Foods, grocery. Okay. So again, we have 189 and 100. I'm gonna go up. And just like that, it updated to 289, which is my total. So again, that was 189 plus 100, and that gave me 289. So now instead of 311 to spend, I have 211. And because I'm over halfway, it turned yellow. Now, what if I'm close to my budget? I want to see what color that's going to turn on the progress bar. So again, let's say I did another grocery trip and it costs $125, and let's say it was at Target. Grocery again. Okay, so now if we scroll up, we can see over here that the actual updated, I'm getting closer to my budget, and this turned orange. It warns you when you're close to your budgeted amount, which is so good to have. It's one of my favorite things. You do not want to touch this area. Remember, all you're touching is this area, and you're updating your expense tracker down here. So the next thing over here that I want to show you is percent of income. This is basically how much of each category you spent from your income. 71.4% of my income to pay for my rent. So far for groceries, I spent 19.7% of my income towards groceries, and it'll update for every single category. So that's nice to have as well. Again, do not touch this area. You're only touching this. So important, because these are filled with formulas and I worked really hard on them. So you do not want to mess with that. I did want to remind you that in your expense tracker, you should also be putting your bills. So what you want to do is kind of transfer these over. So for rent, I've already put it, but on the 2nd, Netflix comes out and that's 11. So I do want to update my expense tracker with rent if it already came out, right? It makes sense. So what I'm going to do is, again, I'm not touching this, I'm touching this. So let's say Netflix came out on the 2nd and it was $11. So again, this is just for reference for you. Let's say Netflix, it's under entertainment. So I've updated that, and then you're going to put in electricity and cell phone as they clear your account, including all the bills you have here, okay? So that actually will update over here. So entertainment was 11. I didn't budget anything for it yet, but if you do, this won't be red. It literally updated for you, as you can see, and then this thing is going to be so colorful, which is so nice. So that's the budget dashboard page. Next thing I wanted to show you is your paycheck plan pages. You have one for every single month. This is you budgeting by paycheck, one of my favorite pages. This page was designed to create a zero-based budget, which just means that every dollar you make has a plan, and you want to use one of these every single time you get paid. I've included 5. So if you get paid once a month, you're going to use one of these. If you get paid bi-weekly, which is twice a month, you will use 2. And if you get paid weekly, you're going to use 4 to 5, depending on how many weeks are in the month, okay? So you do not have to use all of them. You can use 1, you can use 2, completely up to you. So the first thing you want to do is update your payday. So you're going to double click over here and a calendar will come up, and you're just going to input when you got paid. Next, you're going to go ahead and input your income. I have nurse income, which is $24.50, commission, which is $255, and husband income, which is $24.50, and it will actually total that up for you. So that total is $51.55, and that's the number that you use to budget everything else, okay? So first things first, you want to update your regular bills, and you kind of already did that in your Start Here page if you remember, but you do have to put it in here manually just because everybody gets paid on a different pay schedule, and it doesn't make sense for me to have it on here automatically just in case you like to pay for a specific bill in the second half of the month or the first half of the month, depending on how many paychecks you have. what you're gonna do is you're gonna go ahead and input all the bills that you pay on a regular basis in order for that specific pay period. For example, if you get paid on January 1st and 15th, your first pay period is between the 1st and the 14th. That's where you're gonna put all your bills, okay? So from the 1st to the 14th, which bills do you wanna pay? So for example, here I have rent on the 2nd. I'm planning to pay $15.50. And it's on auto pay, so I'll check that. If I'm paying it manually, I'll just check that instead. But usually rent and mortgage comes out automatically. I put car payment here, comes out on the 3rd, which is $470, and that's on auto pay as well. So go ahead and check off if it's on auto pay or you're manually paying it, just so you can remember which ones you have to manually pay and you don't forget. Once the amount clears your bank account, you're gonna go ahead and fill that in. For example, once rent clears my account here, I'm gonna go in and fill $15.50, just like that. Okay, so you're just gonna go through that and fill it in. Also, when you do get paid, you do wanna update the actual column as you get paid, because sometimes, for example, if you get paid on the 1st, you might get your commission on the 4th. So it depends on when you get paid, you can update that. Okay, so you're gonna go ahead and put in all the bills for that pay period. Once you do that, it'll auto calculate for you here how much your bills were. In this case, the bills total to $2480.56. You can fact check me if you want, but these formulas are spot on. Then it gives you what's left from your income, which is here. So now I have $2674.44 to play with. Next is going to be your everyday spending, okay? These are going to include things like groceries, eating out, gas, pet, cleaning supplies, coffee, entertainment. These can be whatever you want them to. It's totally up to you. You're going to input how much you're planning on budgeting for that specific spending category. And then if you're going to take out cash or keep it in your debit card, just so you know where the money is for that. For example, for eating out, you might want to use your debit card. For gas, same thing. But let's say for coffee, your local coffee shop only takes cash, so you're going to withdraw cash for that. It's going to auto calculate for you over here, and then it'll tell you exactly how much is left. For me, I have $1484.44 left to play with. The next thing you want to do is your savings. So you're going to come up here. I call these your sinking funds, short-term savings, basically. These are the ones I have for you: vacation, beauty, iPhone, Christmas, gifts, couch, home decor, emergency fund. You can literally save for whatever you want, and this paycheck planner will let you do that. So over here, you put in how much you're planning to budget from your paycheck based off of what you have left over. So I put for vacation, we are planning $225, the savings account. Depending on what you do, you check it off here. So again, if it's a big amount, I highly recommend you put it in a savings account. If it's like beauty, for example, my nails, they only take cash, so I do need to withdraw that, so I'll check off cash for that. So depending on what you want to use, whether you put it in a savings account or withdraw cash, is what you're going to check off. So after you've budgeted for your sinking funds, it'll give you your total, which is $955, and then whatever's left, which is $529, you will use for any extra debt or savings goals. If you want to make an extra credit card payment towards your first and second credit card, you can. I like to put money in cushion as well, which is basically leave it in my debit card just in case an electricity bill is extra high, for example, and I don't go into overdraft. So based off of the $529 that I had left over, it's all accounted for. How do I know? Because the total is $529, which is the same, and I have $0 left, which is what it should be. That means I have budgeted every single dollar that I made, okay? So down here, this is one of my favorite things, is something that you can use to actually take to the bank with you to withdraw cash, so you know which bill denominations to take out. For example, the cash to withdrawals in 1s, 5s, 10s, 20s, 50s, and 10s. You want to put in how many bills of each denomination you want to withdraw, and it'll actually auto-calculate for you. Let's clear this. All right, so remember, you're only playing around with this column over here. So if I zoom out, I wanted groceries in cash along with coffee in cash. So that's $560, along with my nails, which is $65.
It's $625.
So Siri just told me that I need $625 in cash. So that was $500 plus 60 plus 65. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm gonna put 6 100s, then I'm gonna put 120 and 15. So do you see how that auto calculated for you? So I need a total number of bills of 6, and that will total up to 625. So I need 15, 120, and 6 100s. And I put over here, take a snapshot and look at this once at the ATM. So I would take a picture of this and then go ahead and withdraw that. And just like that, you are done. So you have an expense tracker and a paycheck plan for every single month. This is your February one along with your February paycheck plan over here. And then March, same thing, along with your March paycheck plan. Okay, so again, remember, if you need more guidance, you can totally message me on Etsy, or you can go ahead and read the instructions on your Start Here tab.